What do you think it is that's so special about you, Jimmy, and James? I mean, obviously there's something very magical there after decades, and now you're putting out some of your greatest work together, the biggest tours.
Yeah. Rick Rubin said when James came back to the band and we did that first thing with Rick, he said, James softens your metal, meaning I'm more of a riffer, and James has a way of kind of creating a psychedelia over the top. As soon as James came back, it was like, oh yeah, there's that thing, that weird thing that happens. It's the way we play together. Where did that start? In the bedroom that my dad used to deal drugs out of. James and I learned how to play this particular way together, and that's the way we both play. So when he's standing there, we automatically go into that thing. Jimmy, I mean, are you kidding me? Jimmy came in, on a early summer's day, stonewashed jeans, pink t-shirt, mullet haircut, yellow drum kit, driving a 280Z. And the three goths in us looked and thought, oh my God, what is this?
He was a jazz drummer, right? And
that's one of those lazy, not you, the 5,000 people that wrote it before. No, Jimmy, okay, here's the real skinny on Jimmy. Jimmy went to school and was like doing a college marching band. So he had to learn all the crazy, all that. Then, I think probably before that, he played in a famous polka band.
That's incredible.
And there is a clip, somebody has it, of Jimmy at like 15 playing boom ba on
I did not know this.
Local TV with like a barbershop quartet. Boom, but he's still got the mullet.
Jimmy.
And what's amazing about Jimmy is at 15 he still looks the same
exactly
age at 15.
Same, yeah.
Somehow he looks like he's still 40. Yeah. Like now he's going towards 60 and he still looks like he's 40. Somehow he's always looked 40.
It's the median, yeah.
So when I met Jimmy, he was playing in basically a wedding band. I was actually walking. He invited me to some street fair as we have in Chicago. And it was a beautiful day, and I was walking with my future ex-wife, and we walked up, and the band was playing Green-Eyed Lady, if you remember that song.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Green-Eyed Lady, fashion lady.
Yep.
And all I heard was boom, cha, boom. And I was like, wow, that guy can play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was the first moment. Like, he could play the drums. A lot of people can play the drums. A lot of people can play the guitar. I heard that thing that sells a lot of records eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, cha. It sounded like a recording, but live. And I was like, how does he do that? Because I never heard that from a drummer that I knew.
Right.
It was always some guy in Rush. So as soon as we figured out, and it started with like, oh, you like Rush? Yeah. I'm like, it's like a litmus test for musicians.
Yeah, of course.
Like, can you play the middle section in Tom Sawyer? And Jimmy's like, he plays it while he's looking at the newspaper. He had integrated Ian Pace, John Bonham. At that point, he was 23, 24? He had them all down. All of them.
That's incredible.
Billy Cott, all the best, like the drummers. Bozio, all of them. He could do all that stuff. It was like, who are you? Because Jimmy was from Joliet, and he talked like he was from Joliet. Not somebody you associate as like with a deeper aesthetic.
Right.
And we were all snobby, so we had that. And I was like, oh my God, I found like the needle in a million haystacks. Like, who is this guy? And the tension point was the other two, unnamed, wanted him gone because he didn't look the part.
That mullet.
And didn't sound the part. And was a different type of personality. He wasn't an alt guy. He'd never heard Bauhaus. He'd never heard The Cure.
He didn't know The Cure.
He didn't know any of it. If you'd say, I don't know, Love and Rockets, he'd be like, what? Huh?
Right.
He knew more like, so we would talk about Gene Krupa or I'd try to find some common language.
Yes.
So I knew enough about like Benny Goodman to say, that Krupa beat. So you think of Jimmy's Tom. He's doing Gene Krupa.
That's really cool though.
So that we had that.
So you had that connection.
Oh, you can do that. Because we didn't want to, especially because we were kind of gothy, that we didn't like, I didn't want him to sound like play like Neil Peart on the goth song.
Right.
But Gene Krupa on the goth song, okay, now you're kind of in the Cure territory.
Yes, that's acceptable.
Okay, but now we're a heavier Cure. Now you're like, okay. And then you
I can digest that.
Then you hear Stephen Perkins and you say, oh, that works. I just had a conversation with Stephen Perkins in Australia the other day. Right now, by the way, the band is out with Josh Klinghoffer playing guitar. They are killing it. It's probably the best I've heard Jane's sound in a long time. And that's no slight on Dave, because Dave Navarro, longtime friend, love Dave, but Dave's not there right now. Jane's is on fire right now. So, but I was talking about Stephen about those beautiful Jane's arrangements where they just kind of wind and like dreamy drug trips. And I said, yeah, we stole that from you. I mean, like, we were like, we'll take that too. So imagine that and the Cure and the drumming, and it's all of a sudden it's like this whole world opens up, but it's all because of Jimmy.
Oh, that's
Jimmy
really
takes
cool.
you there. Because if you dream it, it's like, hey, let's play a super aggressive Ministry style beat that Al Jorgensen would program in a drum machine.
Right.
And Jimmy's like, okay.
He was like the secret weapon.
Yeah. Let's do ELO 74 Strange Magic. Okay. It was like you couldn't stump him. Remember that game on Johnny Carson, or like stump the guy?
Oh yes, of course.
You couldn't stump the drummer.
Stump him.
You couldn't stump the drummer.
He was so versatile.
Oh my God. Now it's easy to say he's one of the greatest rock drummers of all time. And, I think he's been Modern Drummer of the Year 4 times. I mean, like real accomplishments.
Yeah.
And drum people know what I'm talking about. Like you're rated up there with the real greats.
Right.
At this point, I'm in a rehearsal space, which is also a place that the guy who was a friend of my dad's was selling drugs and illegal Chicago Bears merchandise out the back door. That's our rehearsal space. And he's just some guy with a mullet. And the other 2 band members are trying to get rid of him. And I'm like, I don't think we're going to find this again in Chicago, much less LA. Like, I knew enough. And my father, the last part of the story, my father saw us play one of the early gigs, and he kind of pulled me aside and said, I don't care what you do with the other 2. Don't lose the fucking drummer.
Wow.
Whatever you do not lose the drummer.
That was probably the best advice that he gave you.
That was my father's way of saying, if you're going to get anywhere in this life, you better hang on to that guy by his ankles.
Wow.
And I did.